Caste Aside. By Kenneth Michael Boyd. Tarsadar Gore, the man yelled, drunkenly hoisting aloft his pega cup, splashing the thick sanguine liquid across the table and his own silken white, trimmed in gold, tunic. Fuck the priest kings, I cursed, turning my cup upside down on the table, spilling the fluid contained within. The word fuck, incidentally, as a curse word, does not exist on Gore. Though, I think my sentiments were accurately conveyed. You dare curse the priest kings, standing up and stepping back from the table as if lightning were about to strike. He moved well for one of his age and caste. How could he know? The ships of acquisition, those directly commanded by the priest kings themselves, had unceremoniously dumped me, barefoot and shirtless, only a pair of Levi jeans left me, on the plains of Turia. A death sentence. Cast aside Boyd. It was indeed fortunate for me, it was spring and the love wars were in full swing, when I initially arrived. The only handful of days of the entire year one would not be instantly slain by the lance or quiver of the wagon peoples, not to mention the Turian Darlarian patrols, the wild prairie sleen, and 1,000 other lethal or crippling dangers. Even to that of a well-equipped and armed man. Remaining where I was seated, the serving wench approached. Careful wench, the man warned, this fool mocks the very gods themselves. You know what they say about the wrath of the priest kings. Indeed, it was well known. The priest kings were powerful. Not just by reputation, but in action. Priest kings could, should they wish it, end the life of anyone anywhere on the whole of the planet. They had torn the city of Koroba stone from stone, all in a single night, leaving nothing, not even destruction. The Towers of the Morning, so named from its founding despite the ominous prognostication it proved to be, were no more before the following sunrise. Such was the power of the priest kings. Fuck the priest kings, I challenged again, grabbing and hoisting another pega as if it were an honorific toast. Those at the tables near us shifted or moved and one couple simply left in disgust. At a back table, up against the wall, nearly shrouded in darkness, sat a veiled and robed free woman. I could not see her face, but was sure that her disapproval was manifest but well hidden beneath those thick concealing robes. Behind her stood an armed guardsman of the north, his red tunic and a crafted metal clasp suggested he might be of AR. The man across the low pega table, now standing, now several steps distant, was known for pasangs as the Silver Sleen of Portcar. His name, incidentally, derived from his silver shock of hair. Those of the merchant caste, it should be noted, as a matter of long-standing tradition, in addition to 2. Cast aside Boyd. The white and gold caste robes, tend to keep their heads cleanly shaven. However, the merchant prince before me presented a thick, full head of hair that had silvered with age. The balance of his nom de guerre, doubtless, referred to his viciousness as a masterful merchant. I, too, was not of the merchant caste. I need use caution with this man. It was commonly known merchants tend to have little martial skills and thusly hire such, considering it a necessary expenditure of the merchant trade, or, at times, and as often as not, employ the use of devices. Some, through the caste of physicians, replace certain teeth with a poisoned fang, while others approach the caste of engineers for a needled ring that would serve the same. The Silver Sleen of Portcar, it was rumored, had had all of his natural teeth removed in favor of fittings that could, apparently, be changed out at will. Not unlike the use of dentures are in the old of earth. I raise my cups with you no more, the Silver Sleen declared, turning, knocking drunkenly into the next table. When the Sardar falls upon you, I will be nowhere near. The Silver Sleen, he of Portcar, seemed to me far more intoxicated than the pega consumed in the night might suggest. He was, presently, reeling, off balance, and seemed more a man at the setting of the prison moon than one only a few ahn into the night. To be fair, he had only a few veal eggs and a small single tosspit for dinner, not a meal well suited to a robust night of drinking. Perhaps he should have stuck with something more like Rent's beer or Kala Na wine. Alternately, it might be considered, someone may have spiked his pega, or velo eggs, or even the tospit, when his attention was turned elsewhere. It could be noted, I was surprised at the ease with which someone had apparently, it was now evident, spiked the food or drink of someone with the reputation of the silver sleen of Portkar. That individual, must, it might be further noted, be of great cunning and skill to have pulled off such a thing. 3. Caste Aside Boyd. I had, some end previous, already lifted the key I sought from his person. This upset about the priest kings and the spiking of his dinner was mere amusements to me. Knowing I could have taken the key by little more than bumping into him at the beginning of the night, indeed amused me. I too am permitted entertainments, am I not? It was indeed fortunate for him. Had the individual spiking his food or drink wished, could have as easily assassinated this merchant of Portkar. I am not, as it turns out, of the caste of assassins. In most cities there is no caste of thieves. Thieves are a rarity on Gore, in fact the act of thievery is not particularly common. The punishment for any free citizen caught thieving, almost without exception across the free cities of Gore, is that of, upon the first offense, a notched ear. It is difficult to hide a notch cut out of one's ear. The red tunic-wearing caste of warriors bear the Gorian helmet, and though this would cover the shameful mark, would never be done. One of the caste of warriors would in no way steal or burgle from another. Not a true warrior. I was not of the warriors. Additionally, a second offense, even that of a copper tarsk spit, commonly is the removal of a hand, usually that of the right, since most Gorians are indeed right-handed. The third offense is that of the further removal of the other hand and both feet, thusly there are few who would, without considerable skill, call themselves of the caste of thieves. Portkar, as it happens, is the only city that not only has a caste of thieves, but one that is even held in high repute. Indeed, most do not know, but any practicing thievery in Portkar without being of the caste of thieves, was hunted down and fed to the earths, if lucky, already in the condition of dead. I knew this to be true, first hand. 4. Caste Aside Boyd. As I have previously suggested, I was not of the caste of merchants, nor that of the caste of warriors, nor even that of the assassins. Moreover, I was not of the casteless group known as outlaws. You the silver sleen pointed accusatorily at me, falling on the trio of men at the next table. They were boatmen of the Fosk, it could be seen by their dress. Moreover, the sticky delta mud still upon it. All three stood angrily, looking to me for explanation. I shrugged. The silver sleen of Portkar did not rise, instead mulling where he lay, extremely intoxicated. Those gathered were growing more agitated by the scene. I well knew the shifting of a mob could be dangerous. With a sudden twice clapping of his hands the tavern master set into motion something for which I thought him genius. The two sharp swift hand claps issued from the tavern master at a perfectly timed lull in the murmurs coming from the crowd of patrons. The instant of those clapping hands stopped a bellowing so loud and fierce issued from the guardsman against the wall, he possibly of AR, and in the company of the sitting free woman against the back tavern wall. The crowd grew fearfully silent. The throaty war call of a warrior of Gore, not unlike the paralyzing effects from a predator announcing its complete intent to relentlessly finish its prey. More than 3 heartbeats passed before a single sound could be heard, so still were those gathered this night in this Pega tavern. Ching-a-ling, it came, softly. Had there been no silencing from the warrior, doubtless it would have gone unheard. The warrior simply stood, ramrod straight, silent. The crowd remained silent as well. Ching-a-ling, the sound came again, stronger. 5. Caste Aside Boyd. The guardsman, now, though he had issued the warrior's cry, had attacked no one. Perhaps it was, I thought, a warning since the tavern, and my recent actions regarding the silver sleen of Portkar, was issuing a protective warning to any who might consider harm to the free woman he protected, still calmly seated at the low pega table against the wall. With a sudden flourish, the veiled and robed woman stood bolt upright. Then, after a moment of stillness, raising her head, she to the shock of all present began to dance. Letting slip the veil covering her face, the woman bent, dipped and swayed in her dancing to reveal a delicate circle of slave steel about her slender neck. Those gathered gasped at the illegal audacity as well the stark beauty she was, so collared. It was called the serving dance, and instead of a continuous diminishment of colorful slave silk, this woman removed, bit by bit, to the beat of an Aryan war drum suddenly produced, a seductive slave dance that offers up not only food and drink but herself as well. The Pega tavern master, in his actions, was taking quite a significant risk. I was, as were many present, impressed. It should be noted this impersonation of a free woman, by that of a mere slave girl, was punishable by death. This made it all the more appealing to those watching. But if the Pega master lost the slave, should the penalty be invoked, though she was not unpretty, and she had proven herself not entirely unskilled in the pleasure dance, it was doubtless cheaper than replacing the damage to the tavern and loss of custom and, more importantly, reputation. I applauded his boldness in this move. Doubtless reserved for only the most dire of situations. But it worked, and well, she distracted all that were present. 6. Cast aside, Boyd. The woman, she who had appeared in the robes of a free woman, against the back tavern wall, suddenly stripped off the rest of her robes, moving to the rhythms produced by the war drum of AR. Her upper body moving, at first, in such a way, keeping the ankle slave bells silent save for the tiniest jangle to let us know they were indeed there. Then, explosively, the little dancer swayed, whirled, and arched around the room, removing more and more of the robes of concealment until all that was left was naked flesh, the glitter of steel about her neck and 4 tiny Bosque horns branded on her thigh. Ah, a Dujik girl. No wonder she danced with such savagery. Then again, she, being a mere slave girl and not the free woman she momentarily portrayed, had no choice in the matter. Standing, tipping my head toward the tavern master, tossing a silver tarn onto their overturned table, I shrugged again. The night is on me, and left. Now, I thought to myself, grinning broadly, now outside the tavern beneath the 3 moons, let us make use of this key. Shall we? 7. Cast aside, Boyd. Coming soon. 1 rogue of gore. 2 thief of gore. 3 footpad of gore. 4 cut purse of gore. 5 robber of gore. 6 bandit of gore. 7 cheat of gore. 8 raider of gore. 9 crook of gore. 10 plunderer of gore. 11 criminal of gore. 12 burglar of gore. 13 pirate of gore. 14 swindler of gore. 15 pirate prince of gore. 16 another rogue of gore. 8.